What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys strategies to beat the 7-star Charizard raid. I'm going to be giving you both individual sets that you can utilize if you're playing online or on your own, and then I'm going to be giving you sets that you can utilize as a group to easily beat the raid. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the next videos. And as always, guys, I appreciate the support. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so for the first Pokemon we're going to be covering Flutter. Flutter is just a super useful Pokemon in the Charizard, specifically because of its really high special defense. Even though it doesn't have that much HP pool, once you invest 252 HP, you should have enough to actually do a lot of work there. So pretty much a Flutter is going to be utilizing the Life Orb item and the stats. Just for those wondering, I am going to start mentioning natures since sometimes people don't know what nature it is. It is a modest nature on this Flutter, so use a modest mint or get one with modest, whichever you prefer. It's going to be using Moonblast for really strong fairy coverage into Dragon type Charizard. Fake Tears, which is kind of similar to the Goldango strat, where pretty much you just Metal Sound over and over again, and then finally get the KO and make it rain. Same thing with Flutter except it's going to be with Moonblast, right? So you could theoretically have 4 Flutter all Fake Tears, and then just Moonblast, right? And that would do a bunch of damage. Mystical Fires, if you're with a group where, like, you aren't able to get the Fake Tears set up consistently because they're just not, like, you know, they're just not coordinating with you. This is like a solo thing. And pretty much like what you do is you just Mystical Fire like a couple times to help your group. You can Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp. That's what that stands for, by the way. TW and WOW stands for Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp. Just so you guys know. So Will-O-Wisp would only be relevant if you have a physical Charizard. We don't actually know the moveset on the Charizard yet. If the Charizard moveset is physical, then I would recommend using Will-O-Wisp. If it's not physical and it's special, then I would recommend using Thunder Wave, because then you're lowering its speed. You're giving it the you're giving it the chance to not be able to move as well. Alright, so one of the next best checks I think is Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl actually allows you to go for Spirit Breaks over and over onto the opposing Tera Charizard. You can obviously hit it for super effective because of it's a dragon type. Spirit Break also has the benefit of lowering special attack by 1 every single time you connect it, right? 100% of the time. So this is actually really broken in the Charizard. One, because Charizard doesn't particularly have a strong defense stat, but also because you can just kind of continually drop it even when it has the situation where like it doesn't let you status it because it's behind the Tera shield. You can just keep Spirit Breaking it. Now obviously you probably don't want a team of like 4 Grimmsnarl, because it's not necessarily going to like do enough. But as long as you have like 1 Grimmsnarl supporting the team while the other team's doing setup, whatever else, this is a pretty strong strategy and can really just like kind of win pretty easily, as long as you set it up properly. As well too, it gets Light Screen and Reflect. Reflect is only in the case where the Charizard has any physical moves, because I could definitely see that being a possibility. And then Thunder Wave obviously is just to kind of like ruin the Charizard, especially if it is special, and just give it the opportunity, or like give it times where it just can't move if it gets paralyzed, which is really nice. For the item, it's Light Clay, so when you set your screens, it lasts for a bit longer. It lasts for 8 turns instead, so you don't have to refresh them as often. You can focus on attacking, and I would recommend Tera Fairy so that you can just chunk more with your fairy moves. Plus, you're not using any other kind of offense, so it just makes sense to beat Tera Fairy. Prankster obviously lets you use your status moves first, which is why it's the best ability here. So the next Pokemon we're talking about here is Azumarill. So Azumarill wants to be Tera Fairy type. It is using a Citrus Berry, which allows it to recover at half of its health after it uses Belly Drum. And the nice thing as well is that when you obviously Belly Drum, it procs your Citrus Berry, so you're back at 75% health. So you might notice this set only has 1 attack. You only need 1. Charizard is always going to be Tera Dragon, so obviously it makes sense. So you just have Play Rough alone. And you have Belly Drum to kind of pair along with the huge power. For the nature, you're always going to want Adamant on this Azumarill, just so you can get more damage. Fake Tears is good if you're using it to support another special attacker, so you can use this in multiple ways, which makes it really versatile. You can Fake Tears instead to help out your partners if you're coordinating with a group, and like they have like a Flutter or something that's trying to one-shot, you can just go for Fake Tears and kind of help them out in that way. And then Aqua Ring is a nice option to just like heal yourself. So pretty much you just use it once and you heal yourself for the remainder of the raid, which is really nice. And it's just a super great way to just give your Azumarill a great way to last long and just take a lot of hits in the meantime and just be able to heal back, especially combined with the berry and the fact that you can sheer heal with your team. It's just a really nice option and definitely gives you more means to actually go through and be able to win the raid. So Sylveon is one of the best strats to counter the Charizard as well, mostly because the specs damage is kind of incredible with Sylveon. So you guys might be wondering like, whoa, Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam, like aren't those normal moves? Because of Sylveon's ability Pixelate, it turns into fairy moves with extra power actually, so they're even stronger. Draining Kiss is just on there if like for some reason you respawn and like you need to keep yourself alive or something like that for a long enough time for your teammates. Like very, very niche scenarios, but for the most part it doesn't matter. And the last slot can literally be anything because you should be clicking Hyper Voice pretty much all time. Hyper Beam is only if like you're in a pinch where like the thing's like it needs to die this turn, you only have one last click and you've come back, like then you click Hyper Beam to try and get the KO. Also, too, Choice Specs is just a really strong item and just boosts up the damage like crazy. And it's just the best item to just boost the Sylveon. It does an incredible amount of work, so you should just be able to like capitalize off of that and use it enough. To me, like that would be my biggest recommendation. You just need the 4 in special defense along with the 252 in HP, just to give it enough bulk to just really take any fire moves Charizard can throw at you. Then the max offense is just so you can do as much damage as possible. All right, so for this section of the video, I wanted to go over certain strategies that I thought were particularly powerful for, you know, obviously the strategies that we'd be going for, you know. Now, I think that realistically, all these strategies should be able to work. You should be able to get some easy wins with them. So I think that you can pretty much guarantee a win with any of these, but, you know, obviously we'll go down the list. So first composition I came up with was a pretty standard, just Calm Mind boosting fake tears, double Flutter main, and then you have 2 Grimmsnarls with fake tears. Pretty much all you're doing here, one Grimmsnarl is clicking Taunt, the other one's clicking Light Screen. Next turn, they're both clicking fake tears as Flutter main clicks Calm Mind again. Then there's one final fake tears, one Thunder Wave, and then after the third Calm Mind, both Flutter mains click Moonblast. So this should just ensure that you get a ton of damage off on the, you know, Charizard. Rinse and repeat, and you should just be able to continue from there. You can use Draining Kiss to heal back your health when you need. Next up is Rabbit Rage. So literally all you do here is you're just clicking. So basically you're going to all pretty much go for the same setup. You're all just going to spam Defense Cheers on turn 1. All click Aqua Ring turn 2. Then one of you belly drums, and then you all helping hand the belly drummer. Doesn't really matter who it is, but you have to coordinate, right? This is for, you know, to coordinate with people. The sets that I gave you guys are more individual. This is like if you're coordinating with a group of 4, Charizard Raid should be fairly simple as long as you do it right. Then we have, by the way, the Tera type should obviously be Fairy, by the way. I forgot to put Fairy on them. Every Tera type in this video should be Fairy. All right, next up, Flutter main. Yeah, if you're lazy and you don't really want to waste time setting up, like all of you can attack boost turn 1, then just start moon blasting. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, that's literally it. You're just gonna be attacking every turn into the Charizard. Can't really stop you from doing that, and eventually you could Tera Fairy, so that might just be the most effective strategy out of all these, who knows. And then finally Sylveon. So Sylveon, what you do is you have 3 setup Sylveons and 1 offensive Sylveon. Offensive Sylveon's going to click Calm Mind. All of them are going to click Fake Tears turn 1. Turn 2, all of them are going to cheer, attack cheer. You're going to Calm Mind. You're going to be at +5. And, you know, obviously the opposing Charizard is going to be at -6. And literally you just click all Helping Hand into the Sylveon. It has to be the host, obviously. And literally just click Hyper Beam. And it should just kill the Charizard. If it doesn't, like, I'm assuming it'll kill Charizard. If it doesn't, then obviously you'll still have to keep playing from there, but you have enough Calm Minds up where you should be able to last, and then you can just all click Hyper Voice if you need to, you know? So it shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad to deal with. So yeah, those are some really quick strategies I came up with, honestly, using like all 4 of the Pokemon that we had. It should be really, really easy, honestly, to beat this raid as long as you're coordinated and using these special defensive fairy types. And like there's more than enough support. You can mix and match obviously some of these sets and use them. I think actually Azumarill even gets fake tears, so theoretically you can include Azumarill as a fake tier mon if like you're working with friends and you can't get access to the other mons, and just fake tears onto opposing like Pokemon. So realistically I think the Azumarill strat is probably the most accessible for everyone. Flutter main, if you have 2 people from Scarlet and Violet, or have Scarlet version, and then you just have like your Violet players use Grim, that should be really easy too. So all this stuff is like fairly accessible, I think, for even if you're like pretty early on. All that matters is like the levels, right? So here's just some early strategies that you can use to beat it pretty easily. hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. It was cool to go over all the different strategies. This should be good for you, whether you're doing a strategy on your own or whether you're doing a strategy with your friends. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know. Let me know if you saw the secret in the video as well, and make sure to let me know what happened to you if you did. As always, guys, I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.